we would be remiss if we didn't mention Fez Whatley.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of people that have passed, Fez Whatley of the Ron and Fez show on WJFK, our station for many, many years, passed away. Another 57-year-old.
Yeah.
And very, very sad. Had a tough time. I didn't keep track of what happened post WJFK. I know they went to Sirius for a chunk of time.
For a long time.
I know Fez was troubled, with issues that spilled over to the air. Oscar, you'd know better than I would. I don't know the story that much.
I don't want to highlight the especially for someone that was so nice.
And he really was a really genuinely
to everyone.
Nice man.
He seemed, even like for our little show, when there was mention of Big O and Dukes when we were on Big O and Dukes, or Chad Dukes when Chad had a good relationship with Ron and Fez as well. There was never this aura, and this is how I judge people maybe now, because there's so many dicks in this industry, especially terrestrial radio, that if you're nice and you're famous, I'm good. Like, you've made my day. You've made my effing day. And Fez was over the top nice.
He was.
He was a very nice man. Very, very. And it was they came to WJFK to do evenings. Would I be right about that?
Evenings. But then they tried a thing where they put them in at 11, from 11 to noon. And
they did
evenings.
Middays for a while.
But they would do they do an hour in middays, and then they'd still do nights because it's WJFK. And it was, I know.
And he's still working. Anyway, that's, it's just, it was a great move. And they were funny guys, and they were very New York.
Yes.
And then I guess things just didn't pan out for Fez. And I know that Fez probably from the beginning had some health issues, but I wasn't familiar with what they were exactly. And then I didn't keep track of when he left the Ron and Fez show, which was just like a couple of years ago,
right? Just a few years, 3 or 4 years
ago.
Before
Before his retirement, he had already had a few heart attacks.
Yeah.
One of them he didn't even know until days after.
Okay.
And then there was, according to what I read, he had a massive heart attack, I believe, in March of this year that Ron had talked about.
Yeah.
I think Ron was a good guy, too. Ron was awesome. Ron is a good guy, and I think Ron did his best with that relationship.
Try to manage,
but it's it's hard sometimes, and it's sad when one of us goes. It's a small fraternity.
It is.
In this business of ours. It's a ridiculously hostile job it's toxic. And if you make a name for yourself, as Ron and Fez did for many, many years, that's doing something. And it's really something to be admired.
I applaud because the three of us were all at the center of the hot talk boom, right? And everybody and so many of the shows sounded just alike. It was just almost cookie cutter. And then Ron and Fez, and it started out as a show, and it was a very clever idea then, ronandfez.com, where they talked mostly about this new thing called the internet.
Yes.
And they came on late at night, and I turned around and I said, this is talk. This is hot, but this doesn't sound like anything else I've ever heard.
It was a different cadence.
Yeah, it was.
Well, Fez had a cadence that was just, it was interesting. It was like, nobody could ever really figure Fez out.
That's true.
And then you had Ron, who was just a brilliantly funny man.
Maybe the most naturally funny person in real life I've ever met.
Just a low-key New York kind of guy. And they were just, probably the unhealthiest duo. I thought Don and I might set that record, as far as that. But those two guys, when you saw them in the daylight, it was like, what, did they live in a tunnel? What's going on?
A caller would mention food. It was just tradition. Ron would go, God, I'm hungry.
Oh, and Ron
starving.
Ron Bennington received this, I think, when we were on WNEW.
Yeah.
And were Ron and Fez on WNEW?
Yes. They followed us.
And Ron got a pizza from, and I'll never forget the name of the place, Two Boots in Greenwich Village. I think that was the name of the pizza joint.
Exactly right.
And they brought it into Ron and opened it up, and Ron said, "Look at that son of a bitch." with a love
Yes.
in his voice that could not be duplicated. But they were sweethearts and nice guys, and it had to be tough for them coming into our world at WJFK, and they did it. And they immediately garnered a
the one
following.
year, the year that they were there was the year we had the Christmas party at your restaurant. And I remember standing with a few people in a circle, and Ron was there and Fez was there. And the conversation sort of came to a lull. And Ron picked up a big glass ashtray and put it on his hand. He said, "Hey, look at the ring Elvis gave me."
That's Ron.
That's
right?
him. That's him.
Such
so
a funny
great.
guy. So Fez, safe home.
Yeah, I miss you.
Sweet, good-hearted guy. Probably too sensitive for our business.
Yeah.
And the more I think about it, Rob, when I think about it, sometimes I think about these guys that have health issues in our business, and I think our business, for people that might be a little sensitive, it manifests itself physically. I've always believed that.
Mike, have you ever really known anyone to have their stomach explode just from being in radio?
Yeah. You really think about that, and I think anybody in show business, you hear about a lot of people that are sensitive sorts that get that. So he will be missed, and we love you, Fezzy, and safe travels. Thanks for bringing that up, Oscar. I would have forgotten about it, and he didn't step on Elvis's death day though.
No,
so you got to give him credit
He passed
for that.
Saturday.